Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to F1 Manager 23, and tonight we're doing a race replay. We're going to replay the Spa Grand Prix, the Belgian Grand Prix from yesterday, and see if we can actually change the result a little bit, maybe do something funky. So this was updated a little bit ago, maybe 3, 4, 5 hours ago. This was added to the list of replays. As you can see, a race moment has not yet been added in. I don't expect to see that until a patch goes live rather than just an automatic update. So you don't physically need to update your game. It will just, this will now just appear in game for you next time you boot it up. Yeah, don't have to worry about downloading anything to get this Spa race replay. We're going to see if we can improve Oscar Piastri's result, because he was phenomenal over the weekend, and then it got to the feature race and it was over in turn 1. So we're going to see if we can actually get past the first corner, get past the La Source hairpin without destroying the car, and see how we do with Oscar. That is the plan. So let's make sure we select McLaren. I think we're going to be controlling both cars, not just Oscar.
Welcome to race day. And before we get down to it, last minute checks are being made.
Motor car racing didn't have the best of starts at Spa-Francorchamps. Only one driver registered for the very first car race back in 1921, so a motorbike race replaced it instead. Times have changed, and now Spa is a solid fixture on the F1 calendar.
How do you think Oscar Piastri is feeling as we get nearer to race time?
You know what, Crofty? They're performing well above what's been expected of them so far. All in all, not a bad place to be.
Well, no one can ever predict what will happen at Spa-Francorchamps. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be eventful.
Yeah, actually got a little bit of intro text about Oscar. That's kind of cool. So our cars are already set. There's not really a lot we can do. The setups themselves aren't great. I am going to make a slight tweak to the front wing. I mean, look at the rear wing's way off. This is the only thing we can change. And it does look as though while it will improve the front wing, it might make everything else worse. So I think we'll just leave that setup as it is. Let's see. Let's take a look at Norris. Can we do anything to tweak his setup? That might improve things. We'll drop the front wing angle down slightly. See if that maybe improves his setup slightly. He's on 43 laps of fuel. Oscar. See, this is what I was talking about the other day. We've got two drivers, both showing the same number of laps here, but with very different fuel loads. This is actually a 43 lap fuel load. This is apparently a 45 lap fuel load. But if we go to 44 laps and then quit back, it now shows 43, and it's less than 44 here, but that says 43. It gets really confusing. So yeah, I think we want to look at maybe I don't know, let's go with this. Just have to hope. Right, let's look at some strategy options. Right, so they ran two-stop racing for the most part in the Grand Prix yesterday, starting softs, then going mediums, then softs. Some started on the mediums, but most people started on the softs. Nobody used the hards, if I can remember. I think it was all just mediums and softs. A one-stop is a 1:18.11. It's a 1:18.15 for a two-stop, but we will have better pace sustainability, and we can probably tweak the performance a little bit if we move our sliders around, maybe? No, maybe not. Yeah, we can't seem to get a real clear indication there. I think maybe a short run on the mediums might possibly be the best option. Let's update that strategy to that. Let's have a look at editing this as well. Do I start on the softs? Probably. It's looking like lap 19 might be the best time to do that. So question is, do I go for the 1 or do I go for the 2? I think what I might do is I might go for the 2 stop with Oscar and the 1 stop for Lando. We'll try splitting the strategy slightly, see which works. Yeah, we'll give that a go. Hopefully the fuel loads that we're starting with will actually work themselves out properly, but one of our cars is going to be either overfueled or underfueled. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
We've got 44 laps ahead of us here in Spa as we get ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. Time for Oscar Piastri to show what he can do.
Quite a surprise to see them in P5, but it's a big chance for the team to maximize their points.
Right, let's get to it then. Get ready, it's the Belgian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
All right, so can we get through the first corner without breaking the suspension?
Overtake.
Yes, we can. We have lost the position to Max. He's jumped us already, but we're still going, so we're already improving on how Oscar's race went yesterday. And we are way off the pace. I wonder if that's how they're controlling the pace of, or the performance of cars, by giving them really bad setups. Obviously this setup is not optimized. It's what, a 70% setup, and about the same for Norris. And we have no opportunity to really affect that. Like a slight tweak to the front wing, which we did for Lando but not for Oscar. We're definitely lacking pace. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near the top 5. Well, maybe Hamilton, depending on how things go. We've got Russell all over the back of us right now. Both cars, their fuel loads are very strange. They're both showing a deficit of about 2 kilos, but the fuel difference is still over 1 kilo on top of that as well. So I have no idea if one of our drivers is actually going to run out of fuel or not. I'm hoping it's just a visual glitch and that they are actually running identical fuel loads. We shall see. How you doing, Dirty Trucker? How you doing, Farah? Good to see you guys. Let's up the pace a little bit. So if we push flat.
Yep. We can use the pace now.
Let's have a look at our confidence levels. Oscar's is average. Let's put Lando into high aggressiveness.
It's time to try and start overtaking cars in front.
Yep.
See if we can get him onto the back of Russell and put some pressure on Russell. Been one of the stars of the season so far, Oscar Piastri. Had a rough first couple of races. He was finding his feet and the McLaren was awful at the start of the season, but he's really shone in the last, the last 3-4 weekends. Shown exactly why he was so highly rated by a lot of the teams, why he was so highly sought after, why Alpine and McLaren went to court to try and resolve the signature situation, because they both really wanted him after Renault messed him around and realised they'd lost Alonso, and then tried desperately to keep Piastri. Very good signing for McLaren. He's hit the ground pretty well. Won the F3 and F2 championships in consecutive seasons as well, before
DRS is enabled.
moving up to Formula 1 reserve role.
Bit of an update for you. We're currently in P8.
So definitely a star of the future, young Oscar. And we are leaving Norris at the moment. He's going to be vulnerable to Alonso. I think Alonso just completed the move. Norris still trying to fight him. Alright, so let's drop into top up. Let's calm the tyres down for Norris. Just tuck in behind Alonso. We've been trying to break away from Russell, and we just do not seem to have the pace. Even though Russell's on the mediums, we just don't have the pace to hold him off. Well, we can hold him off, but we can't pull away from him. So it's going to be a long old race here, I think. Of course, with the race replay mode,
The key thing is to keep the tyre in good shape. Keep the tyre in good shape.
the thing with race replay mode is it just gives you the starting lineup. You know, you start the grid immediately from the actual starting positions for the Grand Prix, and then everything that happens after that is completely unscripted. So, who knows? Max could crash right now, and you know, anything could happen. There are no pre-scripted sort of events in these races.
Lovely stuff.
Okay, well done, Oscar.
And there we go, we've been passed. So let's go into top up. We've already calmed the tyres down. And we'll just try and stick with Russell as best we can. So we don't have the pace this weekend by the look of it. In fact, we're struggling just to keep up with Alonso. Let's see if we can catch back up to Alonso.
I'd like to have 100% pace, please.
Yeah, go on, Fab.
Overtake is available.
Go on, Fab.
Let's turn off battle assist, don't need that now. And we'll turn off battle assist there as well. Again, Oscar being dropped by Russell.
Use overtake.
Gap is over a second already. So no pace in this McLaren this weekend. But we've already done better than than Oscar did in the Grand Prix. He's still running. That's something. So let me know in the comments what you thought happened. What you enjoyed about the Grand Prix yesterday. Favourite moments. Williams was an absolute rocket ship in the hands of Albon when he was on those soft tyres. He was flying up the field. Norris is back with Alonso. Let's hang on to him. Given our lack of pace as well, I think Oscar's tyres are actually cold. We are struggling to get temperature into these softs. You can see there, while we're improving the tyre wear rate, we're having a big drop off in actual performance of the tyres. They're getting colder as well. Barely hanging into the window. I might need to just push those a little bit more just to get some more heat into them.
Now. Copy.
Let's have recharge on then, please.
Yeah, confirm.
Recharge on is good.
Copy.
And a new fastest lap for Max, a 1:45.8. He's up to third already. That kind of tracks with yesterday. No, there's no requirements for this. It's just you get to run the whole race and then just see what happens. But you start with the actual starting grid from the Grand Prix itself. So there's no objectives in this. I just wanted to see where we could get Oscar to finish, given that his weekend was stellar until the race itself, and then it was over at turn 1. Still trying to get some more heat into these tyres. Norris's tyres are doing all right. I mean, he's getting some dirty air from Alonso as well, which is also keeping a bit of heat in the tyres. But yeah, we're struggling to get heat in the tyres with Oscar's car here, which means we're having to push them harder to keep them in the window, which means the wear rate is higher. So whereas I was thinking of switching him to a 1-stop, I think we might have to go with a 2-stop because we can't do a thing. Oh, there is a blue tick. Yeah. I didn't even notice that.
Okay, keep looking after the tyre.
Yep.
So I think realistically our chances in this race are going to be trying to hold back Alonso for as long as we can. At some point his tyres will kick in and be better than ours, and he should be able to power past us. We've been holding him back so far, but as our tyres continue to degrade, that will... Oh, it's happening already. There we go. Is this going to give us the DRS down the Kemmel? No, we've nipped back in front slightly. So Alonso will get the DRS. There it goes. So we're going to have to tuck in behind him. So I think our race is going to be with the Alpines. Chaotic weekend for Alpine. Decent result for their drivers. Ocon and Gasly both with some great overtaking, but strategy just not really where it needed to be in the end. But yeah, a lot of upheaval at Alpine this weekend. Pat Fry leaving to go to Williams, Otmar Zafnauer and Alan Permain both being fired. That's basically the top 3 positions at the team gone, just like that. And the guy who's now overseeing the F1 project, in inverted quotes, has no F1 experience at all. So yeah, it's a very strange time. How does it decide who has DRS in this situation? If you look on the little sector map, you can see the green dots. It's about halfway down the straight leading into Eau Rouge. That's the detection point. If the car behind is within 1 second at that point, as you see the Ferrari's just going through that detection point now, if the car behind is within 1 second crossing that detection point, then when they reach the DRS zone itself, then they get DRS activation. They still have to manually activate it, but it becomes available to them. If they're outside the 1 second, then the DRS button will not work. DRS has changed a little bit over the years. When they first implemented DRS, obviously that was how it worked for racing, but in practice and in qualifying, they could open the DRS pretty much wherever they wanted. So you would see these ridiculously fast times in qualifying, where drivers were opening the DRS on pretty much every single straight, and then in the race they would only get it, you know, if they were within 1 second, and only at a very specific location on the track. They quickly, you know, well, I say quickly, it took a couple of years, but they sort of phased that out to match it up with where the zones were. But yeah, very strange. And Norris makes a move. Yeah, there's at the start of every, just before every DRS, oh, that's the wrong button. Before every DRS activation zone, there is a little blue, a little box on the mini map, which is the detection point. So it's approaching the bus stop chicane. You'll see it once Sargent's gone through and these names clear out the way. You just see that little green box right before the turn at the left-right chicane at the end of the lap there, the bus stop chicane. That is, it's quite hard to see because of the colours of the map, but that's the detection point. You know, the braking zone of the bus stop chicane, and then the green lines down the side of the track on the main straight indicates the actual DRS zone itself. And then same again. You can't really see it from this angle, but you can. It's about halfway down that back straight at the top of the map, top left, the little green box. That's the detection point going down the old short grid there into Eau Rouge. That's the detection point. They go through Eau Rouge, up in through Raidillon, onto the Kemmel Straight, and that's where the DRS activation point is, and then the whole Kemmel Straight has DRS. So let's see if we can get Norris to push up onto Alonso. He'll bring Piastri with him. See the difference in tyre wear between our two drivers. Meaning that, yeah, I think the two-stop for Piastri is definitely going to be the way to go. But we will go with a one-stop for Norris and see where that leaves us. Who knows, if we get a late safety car, we can always switch him onto a two-stop, throw on another set of softs. Alright, Norris is within a second now, but was he at the top of the DRS?
So recharge on.
Yes, he was. He's in the DRS zone. So is Oscar, even though he's outside of a second, because he was within crossing the activation point, or the detection point, sorry. So now we can get Norris putting some pressure on Alonso, or at the very least staying with him and benefiting from a slipstream from him. Again, Piastri's tyres just struggling to stay in the window. Let's take a look at track temps. Are they going to go up? We have got a chance of rain. There might be a little smattering of rain for just for a few laps. But it won't be enough for Inters. Track temperature. It's probably not going to get any better. Might even drop a little bit. Might need to go soft, medium, because if we're struggling to get the soft switched on, we might really struggle with the mediums. How you doing, Mr. Water?
Use the overtake button.
Overtake will be available.
Copy.
So, I have a little bit of game news for you. I've been... I deleted my Ferrari file just because I decided to give myself a little bit more of a challenge on my personal playthrough. And so I started now for Tauri file. I'm 5 races in, just finished Miami. And there are a couple of things I can confirm and also complain about. Yes, sprints are in this game. That's something we forgot to touch on earlier. But sprints are definitely in the game, and I've done my first sprint weekend, which we will be doing on our career playthrough tomorrow night as we head to Baku with Mercedes. But when this game was being worked on, the rules for sprint weekends were a little bit different. That is how they were at the beginning of this year, before they changed them for the start of the season. So sprint regulations for the game are now technically kind of a year out of date. So it's a different format. So whereas in real life sprints are now self-contained on Saturday. So on Friday you have first practice and then qualifying for the Grand Prix itself, and then Saturday you have sprint qualifying followed by the sprint main event, and then Sunday the race. In the game, it's now what it used to be last season with sprints that we didn't actually have in the game. So you get your first practice on the Friday, and then you get your sprint quali on the Friday instead of practice 2, and then you get practice 3 on the Saturday, then the sprint race, and that sets the grid for the race. So if you start 18th in the sprint and you finish 10th in the sprint, you start the main race 10th on the Sunday. Did I see your message about on a bit about Hammer Time? I remember seeing a comment. I can't remember what it said. Sorry, I was a little distracted yesterday. You may remember I was talking about. I got the shock news that a friend of mine had a stroke and was in hospital. He actually sent me a message on PSN, sent me a chat invite, which surprised the hell out of me, because I'm thinking there's no way he could be home yet. And obviously he was using the app while he was still in hospital. So I actually got to talk to him for a good hour or so over the weekend, and that was really good to hear from him. He's still in rough shape. He's still struggling with some of his words. His brain's still a little messed up. He still can't move his right arm. He's got minimal movement in his right leg. And he's going to be probably in hospital for at least another week or 2. But he's showing improvement. Very slowly, but he is showing some improvement. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for him. But yeah, I can't remember too much about the weekend, because that kind of dominated my focus a little bit. So alright, Norris's tyres now starting to cool off. Let's give those a little bit of a kick. We are close to the window. Let's go full attack. Let's get off these tyres.
Copy.
Put on a set of mediums.
Box now. Box.
We've got Gasly closing on us. we still got battle assist on for Norris. Let's turn that off. Little tip I have kind of picked up on. If you're not in a battle, make sure you remember to turn off battle assist. Otherwise, you're costing yourself potential energy deployment over a lap. I was only using 1.6 kilojoules as opposed to like the full 2 kilojoules from neutral when I had battle assist on in clean air. When I was racing at Miami, I started remembering and paying attention to that. So yeah, if you are using battle assist, make sure to turn it off when you're in clean air, or you've got enough pace that you don't have to worry too much about the car behind. You only really want to use it to kind of either auto attack or auto defend. Oh, we got a problem pit stop. Ah, damn it. About an extra 3 seconds on the stop there. What happened?
McLaren's team get called into action. And that's
Oh, it's a sticky right rear. No, left rear, even. Did the medical guy just give him a good prognosis? He's about 50-50 at the moment for making a full recovery. So, yeah, it's not great. It was a really big stroke. I'd say he's only 38 as well, so just kind of came out of nowhere.
We want to manage our tyre budget.
Yeah, all good.
Key thing is to keep the tyre in good shape. Keep the tyre in good shape.
Yeah, copy.
Use overtake.
Copy.
Be nice to get past.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the replay. Now the focus is on Lando Norris here. The opportunity's there. Up that takes them to 7th place.
time to push on these tyres.
Confirm.
Muted again. Our tyres, they keep dropping out of the temperature window. I mean, it's good for wear rate, but it's not so good for the performance. Keep pushing them, which wears them out a bit faster. Not sure how long I was muted for. Hopefully not very long. Did you hear me respond to your hammer time stuff or not?
Rain is expected.
Because if you didn't, then I was muted a bit longer than I thought.
No need to push the tyres.
Yeah, confirm.
Okay, so yeah, I was just saying I've not heard it myself yet. Really glad that they've had it in the game. I was disappointed it wasn't in the game last year, but I was really kind of expecting them to put it in this time round. And maybe we'll hear it tomorrow when we go to Baku with our Mercedes career. Alright, 147.3. We are lapping faster than Alonso. So we found some performance again. Oh, got a yellow flag. That's is it Albon? No, it's Gasly. Gasly's had a lock
Now
up.
we can see what happened. Right, let's have a look as we go into turn 4. Well, you can see the lockup.
Oh, just under pressure from Stroll there, I think. And that's dropped him all the way back. He's last. When you say Alnos, I'm guessing you mean Alonso. At first I thought you meant Albon, and now I'm guessing it was Alonso. Max boxes. And he's out onto the mediums, and he gets out ahead of Lewis. Just. These two going to go very close into Eau Rouge. Hamilton will get the DRS. Ocon boxes. Rear wing's wide open, but he's not closing the gap at all, and the rain is just starting to sprinkle. We're going to get a couple of laps of this. Gasly has damaged his tyres as well with that lockup. They're down to 36%. And he's gone. That's it. No chance for Hamilton to have any kind of response to that at all. We are almost on the back of Ricciardo, and these tyres are really starting to
I'd like to have 100%
drop off again in terms of their temperatures. Even the mediums are dropping off. Let's push those up a bit. I mean, this will be the rain cooling the tyres down a bit as well. So. Battle assist mode.
Overtake available.
Copy.
Leclerc's boxed. We're going to just stay out an extra lap or two, I think. Leclerc's boxed onto the mediums. Here comes Lando.
Okay, use deploy.
Copy.
Oh, what's going on here? What happened there? That was very odd. It's almost like we were getting held up by Albon in the pit lane, even though he was on the track. Hamilton had his first crash. Did you celebrate? Oh man.
And recharge on. Copy.
Okay, the medium seems to, well, I'll say the medium, sorry, the soft seems to be hanging on at the moment. We're still kind of in range of Leclerc, although we are pushing the tyre a little bit. It's pretty warm. Maybe Leclerc's just struggling to get temperature in with the wet track, or the damp track. Now there we go, Leclerc's got his tyre switched on now, he's starting to pull away. Alright, so let's box Lando at the end of this lap. Alright, how are we doing with Oscar?
Confirm.
Evening, Zane. Career mode with Mercedes will be tomorrow. Oh wow, that Alpine just went straight round the side of us there. That's not good. And he'll have the DRS on us. We might not have it at all. Oh no, we managed to get it from Ricciardo, so we're okay.
Recharge on. Yeah.
Almost at the pits. Still 2 seconds ahead of Alonso. He will be boxing a little bit after us. Another few laps yet. What happened to McLaren this weekend? Well, Oscar was a bit of a star in the mixed conditions. They kind of set their car up for a wet race, or at least rain in the race, and it never really came for the Sunday, which is why they were not where they needed to be. They didn't have the performance because they were running too much wing. Alright, we are ahead of Stroll. That's good. Not going to get held up by him. Are we running battle assist? No, we're not, but we shouldn't need to, hopefully. Let's turn it off here. Utilise the full battery. Let's go back into standard mode.
Okay, keep looking after the tyre.
Copy.
If you're not sure which career file to do first, think about your level of experience. You know, did you master the last game, or you know, was it still a little bit of a challenge for you? If it was a little bit of a challenge, this game is definitely harder. Might be worth going with a if not a top team, then certainly an upper team, upper midfield. If the last game was way too easy for you, look at sort of midfield down. But there's nothing wrong with running a few races, you know, on a throwaway file, just to get used to the way the new sort of game mechanics work before you start your main career. Did you see manager at Alpine leave the team? Yes. No one knows what's going on at Alpine. Alpine don't know what's going on at Alpine. They're just a disaster. They've lost the top 3 members of their management structure in one race weekend. Yeah, Farah's suggestion is a good one as well. That might be the right thing to do. Just play the game on the PS4 version first as a Red Bull to get used to the game and whack out the trophies, and then start the PS5 version fresh with a different team and set yourself up for a challenge, and then just play the PS5 version until the next one comes out. Was that a beer? No, it was kind of relentless.
No more rain in pit lane. No more rain in pit lane.
Yep.
Alright,
The tyres come back to you.
we're pulling away from Stroll. Let's check lap times. Hamilton's just boxed, so don't know what he was doing, but we were 7 tenths faster than Alonso, who's yet to stop. Looks like Russell just stopped recently. Oh no, Russell hasn't stopped yet. Perez has. Front 2 have. Sainz is boxed. So Alonso and Russell still yet to box. We will jump Alonso, and we will probably jump Russell as well. Piastri's tyres again struggling to stay in the temperature window.
Let's see what pace you can do.
We've got an X on the objective. I don't know what the objective is, if there is one. Still doesn't tell us. Maybe that's something that will be added in with a patch, actually telling you what your objectives are, or a way to find out what your objectives are mid-race. Alright, 148.5, we're slower than Ocon. Oh, there we go, 147.3, and we've got a yellow flag on the track. Somewhere, briefly, someone locked up, it's Ricciardo.
This is what happened. And we're watching Daniel Ricciardo. All good at this point. And the car fails to respond. And they ended up...
Whoa! Okay, that needs to be worked on.
If you can, push.
Go on, play up.
it's not quite the level of pit lane comedy that we saw yesterday on the Saturday on the challenge streams, but yeah, that was a bit bonkers. Now it's Norris's tyres that are dropping out of the window. Quickly heat those back up. Hamilton with a 1:46.6. We definitely don't have that pace, but we are half a second faster than Alonso, a second faster than Russell. Piastri is closing on Tsunoda. In fact, there is Tsunoda. And Russell's in the box. Let's have a crappy stop here, please. Nope. But we are through. That was us going around the corner in front. There's us. There's Russell coming out the pits. Stroll in the box as well. Can we jump Stroll? We should be able to. Yes, we can. There's Stroll coming out behind us. We might have been inside the 1 second, I'm not sure. Did we get the DRS? Yes, we did. Storming onto the back of Yuki here. And we're back on the positive for the objective, so maybe it's just making sure that Norris finishes in 7th or higher. Because Oscar's not in the points yet. Or maybe it's just to score a certain number of points for the constructors.
Use overtake.
Copy.
Okay. Do not want to overtake here.
Recharge on.
Copy.
And Oscar, the pack is good.
Yep.
Okay, to push.
Yeah.
There we go. Right.
Use the overtake button.
Looking good over here.
Yeah. Copy.
So now we want to get the overtake done. Coming out of Radion. Wow, just didn't have the straight line speed. Can we dive down the inside here? That'll be a move. No, we are getting held up. Stroll's all over the back of us already. Maybe dive up the inside at Pouillon. No. Maybe a lunge up the inside here into Stavolo 1.
Alonso has pitted.
No. Just tucking in through Stavolo 2. Surely he's not going to have a go at Blanchimont. No, he doesn't. Stays
Car
tucked in.
behind, kind of as expected.
Confirm.
Right, so 103, the optimal tyre temps for these tyres. We've just about got them there. We are clear of Russell. Did we get him too soon? Yes, we did. Unless that was just a defence that we were seeing. Oh, Russell just sweeps in front of us there. Oh, we lost out to Piastri. Sorry, to Stroll. Oh, his confidence is low. All right, let's go into medium.
Okay, Alex, we have recharge on.
Close to our scheduled stop for new tyres. Russell is sprinting away from us on those new softs. And that is a new fastest lap for Russell. How do I find the game compared to 22? With honesty. Oh, much better. I mean, it's not without its faults. It still has some issues. It still has some glaring omissions and some very unusual update decisions. I hate these track maps. They're horrible. Most of them. Some of them are okay, but most of them are horrible. You know, I get what they've tried to do with the style of them, but ugh, no. Miami in particular looks hideous, but the game is definitely better. The difficulty has been addressed, at least in the short term. I don't know long term because I'm only 5 races in on my personal career, and our channel career is only 3 races down. We're going to Baku with Mercedes tomorrow for the next part of our career playthrough there. But one thing I have noticed is on my personal playthrough with AlphaTauri, you don't have that huge oomph of brand new parts anymore. I mean, the AlphaTauri is really bad when you first start. It's blisteringly quick in acceleration, but it doesn't have the greatest top speed, and the airflow is appalling. So you just don't have the grip in dirty air or much downforce through corners in general. And I've put a lot of upgrades on the car. A couple of them have been intense. Most of them have just been normal. And I haven't really made much of a massive improvement in the car yet. So, and obviously the finances have been rebalanced as well. So, it's more expensive, especially if you need to buy new parts. So the cost cap is definitely more relevant this time than it was before, where you could finish the season with a monster car and still have 50 odd million in the bank. That's not going to be the case this time round unless you're Red Bull. Pretty much. And even then, probably not with that big of a reserve of cash. You're going to have to spend a lot to upgrade the car and your facilities, and you'll run out of funds if you spend a lot on your upgrades too quickly. You'll easily run out of funds. So the racing is more dynamic. Drivers will push at random points. They don't just have like a prescribed pace that they sit to that just gets slightly quicker every lap as the fuel burns off. They do fluctuate their pace, so they will have push laps, they will have cool down laps where they have to look after their tyres or they recharge their batteries maybe. Let's have a look at tyre rates here. You can see It's a little hard to see with some of the drivers because of different stop schedules, but you can see that some of the drivers on the softs are at different wear rates despite pitting within a lap or two of each other because they've been pushing, you know. So there is that more dynamic feel to the racing. It's not straightforward anymore. You can't just sit in one mode and just, you know, hang in the DRS. With the way the new tyre model works, keeping an eye on your tyre temps is critical. If you stick it in just cruise mode with a low tyre pace, your tyres will drop out of the temperature window and your performance will drop off quite quickly. If you stay tucked up behind another car for too long while you're in normal or even pushing slightly, your tyres will overheat very quickly, and then you'll suffer not just a drop in performance but also a big spike in degradation. You've really got to be on top of things a bit more. So yeah, it's a big step forward. It still has its faults. It's not perfect. The sprint format is already out of date because it uses last season's, you know, sprint sets the grid for the race format rather than a self-contained Saturday that we've got this season. But we have all 6 of the sprint events. We've got the 2 ATA qualifying weekends at Imola and Hungary. Young driver development seems to be better. I like the way that the staff kind of develop themselves based on, and you can focus them in specific areas, but they develop themselves as do your drivers. You tell them what kind of area you want them to focus on and they'll boost a few of their skills, or you can leave them unbalanced and they'll work on everything, but it will take them longer to get a big improvement in any particular area. It was very easy to coast to victory last time out. I don't think it's going to be that easy this year, this time around. I think at some point someone's going to discover a method that, you know, works better than other methods, and will then just start spamming that and post results saying, "No, this is too easy." But you know, if you go looking for information like that and then find it, you can never unlearn it. So it's better to just maybe try and explore it yourself. But having played a lot of F1 22, and I mean like over 1,000 hours, you know, 3 different Let's Play series on the channel, and then the last one of those was a challenge mode where we made things very difficult for ourselves, a lot of self-imposed restrictions and regulations that we enforced to make the game harder. We still ended up winning the championship, both championships in Season 3. With a couple of races to spare, with rookies in a car that was awful at the start. So yeah, the last game way too easy. This one at the moment feels a lot harder. Now I'm sure they'll do some tweaking. I know they're already going to do some they've already said that the latest patch, or the first patch, is going to have a couple of rebalancing issues in it, so that might change things slightly. But from what I've played so far, I like the changes. Right, let's get Oscar off these mediums. Already left him out there too long because I was talking and not really paying attention.
And box now, stay right at Bollard. Box.
I'm kind of okay on Norris, so let's drop the pace down a bit.
Just be careful with this tyre.
Go fair.
Not all upgrades are actually upgrades. Yeah, I mean, there's some very strange decisions that they've made. They've obviously given the UI an overhaul, and some of the menus are a little bit more clunky than they need to be as a result. One of the things I really don't like is that in overhauling the driver windows in practice, you can no longer see on your driver window here in the bottom corners, you can no longer see what your actual feedback level is. When you're addressing car setup, you can see how many out of 5 in terms of feedback responses you've got, but not the actual setup confidence level. You have to go into the driver page up here to actually see what your confidence rating is, and it's just what your setup confidence is, and yeah, it's an unnecessary change that just it forces you to use a window that you didn't need to use. They still don't tell you what penalties are when you're just looking at the end of session thing, and you see, okay, penalties applied for this driver here. Still doesn't tell you what those penalties are. It just has a little red triangle saying penalty, not whether it's a 3-place penalty, a 5-place penalty, a 10-place penalty. It just penalty. That's it. That's a bit of an oversight. The timings here are still pointless, because they don't give you active splits between you and the car you're chasing, and whether you're closing per sector or dropping back per sector, or in qualifying, you can't see how close you are to going out or going through until you've crossed the line and completed the lap. You just get a different coloured sector at a time, and that's it. Which is really stupid. It's really annoying, and it frustrated the hell out of me that it was in that's the way it was in the last game, and the fact that it's still in this one bugs the crap out of me. But it is what it is. Hopefully they'll address that for next time. It's not a game-breaking issue. I never really tended to pay too much attention to them because they didn't give me what I wanted, but would have been a nice upgrade to have active split times displayed. So who knows, maybe that will come. I'm liking the fact that the career switching will be brought in with a patch in September. I don't know if they just had to hastily start working on that because fans realised very quickly when they announced the game that it wasn't going to be in it, and there was big backlash, and so they had to rush on that and say, okay, it's coming, it's not ready yet, but it'll be out there. Or whether they just didn't have enough time to get it done with everything else that they were doing, in which case helmet cam is something that could have waited until that was a feature that was, till the switching was done, and then helmet cam could have been patched in. But I kind of get that you've got to have something shiny and new as a visual hook to potentially attract new people. So I can kind of understand that. At least it's coming. We'll have to wait another month or 2, but it's coming. And that will add a lot of longevity to the game, because instead of just getting stuck in a situation where, unless you severely, deliberately handicap yourself, after a few seasons your team will just romp to victory without even trying, you can now go, okay, I've taken this team as far as I can take it, it's just going to be boring from this point on. I can now go to another team and try and take down the team that I've just made unbeatable. So yeah, that's going to be huge. Can't wait for that. The PC version got patched today, apparently. It is still going to be a few days away for that first patch to hit console, so I'm hoping by the end of the week we'll have it. It has to go through certification with Sony and Microsoft before it can go onto their storefronts, so yeah, we'll see what happens with that in terms of how long it will take. Right, how are we doing in terms of pace?
Copy.
The driver confidence system is an improvement on what we had before. I still think
push on these tyres.
A glaring omission is reliability. That we now have part degradation in terms of You know, you can make parts lighter but less robust in development, which will help save a bit of weight and increase performance of the car slightly, but at a cost of they will wear out faster. So parts will wear out now, aero parts, rather than just the engine parts. Your aero parts will wear out as well. And then when they get to a particular point and they fail inspection, you have to replace them with another part. And if you don't have the spares, emergency costs a fortune to emergency manufacture new parts. So you've got to make sure not only when you build a new part that you've got enough for whatever you need it for, but you need to make sure you've got spares as well. And a prime example of how badly you can get caught on that is I put a brand new suspension on my car on the AlphaTauri for Baku for round 4 for the sprint, and then one of those I was fine on the suspensions. I had one spare suspension, but I only had 2 chassis, one fitted to each car. No spare chassis on the current model. And I had a previous model, I still had 1 or 2 of those left. But my car got wrecked in practice 3, but it would not let me change to the older spec because the car was in Parc Fermé going into the sprint itself based on the car setup from sprint quali. So I had to emergency manufacture one chassis to be able to put that on the car just to take part in the sprint, and it cost me $2.2 million to manufacture one chassis in emergency. Yeah, so make sure you've got spare parts, especially on sprint weekends. But yeah, going back to the driver confidence system that I was just starting to touch on before I got sidetracked. Driver confidence does play a big part in how well your drivers are going to perform on track. The better their confidence, the more likely they are to pull off some consistent lap times, the more likely they are to pull off a successful overtake or a successful defense of position. You know, if they get caught out and they start dropping in confidence, it becomes much easier for them to be overtaken. It becomes much harder for them to do an overtake unless they've got a clear advantage. It increases the chances that they're going to have a lock-up, and their confidence affects how they perform in terms of overall performance. So if we go into the confidence stats here, you can see the baseline stats for Oscar in white, and then because he's into high confidence, those are the bonuses that he's getting at this moment. Now these are dynamic, so these will change. As his confidence goes up, those values will increase on that left-hand side. As his confidence goes down, they will decrease. You can end up with negative if you're not careful. If we take a look at Lando, there you can see Lando's confidence is slightly higher, so he's actually got +2 on overtaking, whereas Oscar, well, he's got it now because he's just in a new personal personal best third sector. But your confidence can be improved by doing personal bests in sector times. It can be improved by overtaking quite dramatically. It can also be improved slightly by a successful defense. You can lose a lot of confidence if you get overtaken, and you can slowly, just gradually lose confidence if you're just consistently putting in average lap times. So your pace can fluctuate dynamically based on how confident your driver is at any one point in the Grand Prix. So you always need to kind of pay attention to those confidence levels, because it really can make or break your race. And like I said, with your tyre temps, you've got to pay attention to your tyre temps as well, because if your tyres get too cold, they suffer a big loss of performance. If the tyres get too hot, they suffer a big loss of performance and a big spike in wear as well. So the game is a lot more fleshed out this time round. But like I said, there's still definitely room for improvement, but it's a huge step forward based on my experience of running the game for nearly a week now. Well, I say nearly a week. Thursday. It went live on Thursday for the pre-orders. So yeah, I've had what, 5 days, including today, with the game. And then you see just a loss of confidence there for Oscar for failing to pull off that overtake. So dynamically, you can see that has changed those confidence stats. So he's getting less of a bonus now. His accuracy in braking dropped down. And there we see an overtake and a huge jump in those stats as his confidence rockets up. He's now into high confidence, and he's about to hit very high confidence. So if we can get him into very high confidence, which we can do with improving his next sector, we'll push him.
Yep, copy.
Let's pay attention to these stats.
To go.
See if we can get him into the next confidence window. There we see a personal best in Sector 2. That's boosted his confidence slightly. It's not quite enough to get him into very high confidence, but he's got a couple of cars he's about to overtake. If he can get at least one of them, that'll easily push him up into the next one. Might even get him all the way up into peak. Let's see if we can hunt down Russell.
And overtake is available.
Yeah, confirm.
You have expanded options here for how aggressive you want to be with your overtaking, how aggressive you want to be with your defending. If you go always defend, you are going to have a negative effect on your lap times. You've got the ability to avoid high-risk curbs and drive it clean out as before, and the don't fight teammate. They're all in here in your tactics window. Failed overtake there, so we just lost a little bit of confidence. Sometimes it is wiser to just get your driver to just hang back for a moment rather than just getting stuck behind two battling cars, so they don't keep trying to overtake and failing, because that will just snowball your confidence going down. You can see we've clearly got the pace, but again, that's another failed overtake. That's another little hit to the confidence. Hopefully we can get the Williams here on the run up through Blanchimont into the bus stop. Have a look at the inside, maybe. No, that'll be another failed overtake. And we are starting to run out of battery. We're going to make a move. We need to do it now. Let's go full attack.
Okay to close the gap.
And there we go, side by side through Radion, up through Eau Rouge, up through Radion. We've got the overtake done on Albon, and we should now get past Magnussen as well. And there we go, we're into peak confidence. And there, you can see the massive improvement that's had to our stats. So, a lock-up for Perez.
Now this was on the straight.
He's had a spin at La Source.
The brakes couldn't cope. Now they did leave it very late.
Just a lock-up, not a spin. That was only cost him a couple of seconds. But you can see now, with that improvement to our stats, and if we continue to push, we can set a blisteringly fast sector time now, potentially. No, you don't lose the development, you just lose the part. So, yeah, if you do run out of spare parts for an upgrade that you've made, you've still got the plans for those upgrades, you just don't have any available parts for them. But you can choose which spec of parts you've created you want to build for. So, bearing in mind you can only build one part per type. So you can't build a Mark 1 and a Mark 2 chassis at the same time. You can only build either a Mark 1 chassis or a Mark 2 chassis, and then however many multiples of that part type that you want. But you couldn't make two Mark 2 chassis and a spare Mark 1 chassis at the same time. It would be just the Mark 2s or the Mark 1s. Right, let's calm those tyres down a touch.
Key thing is to keep the tyre in good shape.
Let's go top up. Got to be careful about fuel. Someone has a spin. It's Logan Sargent. The spin animations, lock-up animations have been improved. Some of them are still a little bit comical. There are some obvious glitches when it comes to some animations. We saw a ridiculously stupid one earlier. With one of the cars just going really weird and actually through the pit wall into the pit lane and then back onto the main track again at the bus stop chicane when they locked up. But
How many laps are left?
for the most part they've been improved. They're not quite so janky as they were before. You do kind of recover for the most part a little bit quicker, but again, depending on positions, you can still get caught out. You can still get held in the pits really badly though, which bugs the crap out of me. Again, at my Miami AlphaTauri file, it was a wet tyre change, pitting off softs onto inters. A lot of the field came in at the same time. I got held. And then held as multiple cars went past me, and then another car that was being held behind me in the pit box behind me hadn't even pulled out. I didn't get the chance to pull out before they did. I had to then sit there and wait for them to pull out of their pit box, then go past me before I could then pull out of my pit box when all the other traffic had gone through. It's just like, are you kidding me? That is still a problem. I really hope they address that, because that ruins a race. When you just sit there and watch 5, 6, 7 cars just drive past you. They really need to sort that out. So yeah, they get a big tick for the improvements they've made. They get a big X for improvements that should have been made that haven't been made. But it's definitely a big step forward. It's not as big a step as a lot of people were hoping it would be, but it's still a definite improvement, and I think worth the price of admission. Right, are we closing on Russell? Not really. Nothing about the same lap time as him. His tyres are a little bit worse, but they're a faster compound. I don't think we're going to be able to catch him in the remaining 2 laps. Oscar is going to get 11th, but he's not going to get Stroll. Unless someone in front retires, he's not going to get any points. 2-stop hasn't really worked, but Oscar really had to push his tyres to keep them in the window, and that has hurt him. He swoops on through, and you can see how much quicker he's been going with that confidence boost. Now he's at maximum confidence. He could not be any more confident.
Good job, Alex.
So Oscar, you're P11.
If he can just hold Bottas off through here, which he's going to be able to do, that is P11. Just make sure he doesn't run out of fuel. Norris coming round to start his final lap. is suddenly closing on Russell. I think. That's Russell there. Russell's had a slow lap for whatever reason.
Stay close.
He has. We were almost a second over a second faster than Russell. Oh, if only we had battery to spare. We could maybe nab P6. We might still do if we're lucky, but I've got to be careful of fuel. We are dangerously low on fuel.
You can reduce the LICO slightly.
We suggest a little bit more LICO.
All right.
Can we hunt him down? Oscar's going to be P11. It's better than P20, which is where he finished yesterday. Norris is almost within a second. Let's go for the high-risk overtake.
Max Verstappen over the finish
Can we get a
line,
dive bomb
and
into the bus
today's
stop?
winner.
Confirm.
No, we can't. Ah, one more lap. One more lap and we would have had him.
Checkered flag. And P7. Well managed.
Still a good result. Yeah, good job to everyone.
I'm trying to remember where Norris actually finished yesterday. I think that might be about where we finished. Definitely improved for Piastri. Verstappen won from Leclerc, then Perez. So Leclerc able to hang on. Sainz finished the Grand Prix. Obviously, he didn't finish yesterday. If he'd retired like he had yesterday, then we could have maybe sneaked a point with Perez. Sorry, with Piastri.
Okay, that's the checkered flag. That's P11.
Yeah, that's a good day. Thanks for all the effort. Well done, everyone.
But it's another comfortable win for Max.
Lando Norris, currently on our screens, heads back to his team.
7th place at the end of that one, and some points for the team.
And no doubt, Verstappen fans will be celebrating the Dutchman's achievement.
Oh, for those of you that don't know, there was another broken Red Bull trophy at the Grand Prix yesterday. This time it was the Constructors' trophy. They did their traditional photo shoot outside the pit garage, all the team lined up with the drivers all crouched down and the trophies up front. And yeah, the Constructors' trophy got trampled on when the champagne came out and everyone started running around and trying to avoid getting sprayed. Someone trampled on the Constructors' trophy and broke it. So that's 2 trophies in 2 races that have been broken for Red Bull. So there we go. That is exactly where Norris finished in the last Grand Prix. We actually, if you consider the fact that Sainz was in the Grand Prix and actually survived this time round, that's actually technically a 1-place improvement. Because if Sainz had retired like he had in the real Grand Prix, we would have actually finished in 6th, not 7th. So I'll take that. All right, take it easy, Trucker. Thanks for stopping by. So we got 6 points there for McLaren, which is, again, how many they got yesterday. And seeing as it's still early, we don't have a an alternate curated moment yet. That's got to be patched in at some point, which is a bit of a shame, but it makes sense. They've got to curate that one before they can add it into the game, so that'll take a little while. But we can look going forward. What we're going to do is after every real Grand Prix, the day after on the Monday, we're going to do the race replay. So if there's a Grand Prix weekend, you just know that on that Monday we will be then racing that Grand Prix on a race replay, and then for the rest of the week it will be career mode. And if there's no Grand Prix weekend, then it will just be career mode until we start to maybe thin down the schedule a little bit after a few weeks. So let's look at maybe doing another scenario. We did the rain in Bahrain the other day. What's the Matador? 8 laps. Alonso must finish in the lead. After cleverly undercutting the Red Bulls, Alonso is leading, but he's on older tyres and the cars behind are closing rapidly. We'll save that for another day. That's quite a short one. Let's have a look at Viva Las Vegas. I did say that we were going to do this at the weekend and then we didn't, so let's have a look at this. We've got 12 laps. A safety car has just come out. Hulkenberg is already on pretty much new softs, so he's going to be like P5, I think. And we can box Magnussen under the safety car to get him on new tyres as well. This is tricky. I've tried this 3 times now and not come close yet. So either one of our drivers, doesn't have to be Hulkenberg. It could be Magnussen, but we do need to get one of our drivers on the podium, and yeah, it's going to be tough. But this is your chance to see Las Vegas. So this is the situation. Hulkenberg has, as you can see, just boxed onto brand new softs. And we're going to go ahead and create a new stint with new soft tyres. Well, pretty much new soft tyres for Magnussen. So let's go ahead and box him. We've got some almost new tyres available. If we confirm the pit, we are going to look after the tyres behind the safety car. We're going to fully charge up the battery. I'm going to look after those tyres. I think we've got enough fuel, and we'll again charge the battery up full. So, welcome to Las Vegas.
Thanks, folks. Copy that.
So we're going to try this probably a couple of times. Mr. Watto has deleted a message. Is he channeling his inner Zane? I have no idea what he typed. we'll try this a couple of times, because I'd say I've tried this 3 times now, and this is the way I've done it on all 3 occasions, boxing Magnussen. Next time I try it, I'm going to keep Magnussen out and see if we can maintain track position long enough for Hulkenberg to maybe come through, and then get him to act as a rear gunner. But you can see what I mean about the track being very narrow. It is very tight. And I don't think a lot of people realise just how bland and boring the circuit would look from this perspective, because you don't really see any of the glitz and glamour. You see little bits in the background, but it's just high walls and fencing, and very claustrophobic kind of feel compared to some of the other circuit races that we go on. I mean, it's a stark contrast to Baku, where it feels so much more open and you can see so much more of the city. But it's not just the barricades, but it's the fencing behind the barricades that just blocks some of your peripheral vision, and you just lose some of the impact of the background. In this view, yeah, it looks pretty, but from the driver's point of view, eh.
Try to do some lift and coast and then focus on apex speed.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they've got those fences. I mean, I'm guessing it's just because it's in the streets. It's to stop people from seeing the race that haven't paid, bought a ticket, or an extortionate hotel room. So these camera angles that we're seeing are supposedly the TV broadcast angles that we'll be seeing when the race is actually run for the first time later this year. Or at least they've been created using provisional positions. They may get changed, who knows, but these are theoretically the kind of positions that the TV cameras will be broadcasting from when the race goes live. In November. Penultimate Grand Prix of the season, just tucked in between Brazil and Abu Dhabi. I was having a look. Apparently it wasn't. I think I might have been getting it mixed up, but it was. They used a lime mix in the asphalt, and the lime was locally sourced. I did actually have a look earlier. I couldn't see exactly where it came from. I couldn't find the interview that I was looking for, but I saw reference to locally sourced lime and asphalt materials in a couple of old articles. So I'll see if I can find the video, and then I'll post a link to it if I can find it.
Just pick up the pace.
Yep.
Okay, Kev, no more lifting coast.
Copy.
Okay, the safety car's going in. Verstappen has the pack. Remember, no overtake until you cross the line. Let's catch the guys ahead. Boat push, boat push.
Copy.
Let's give it a go.
Yeah, copy that.
Alright, we're past Alonso. And that's as far as I've ever got. It always goes backwards from there.
I'm way faster than these guys.
Well, then you should be overtaking them, Kevin.
Go.
I know the whole track surface was completely relayed for 2023. Had the line cut off by the Ferrari there.
That was dangerous. Let's take averting action.
Okay, let's make the most of it. Yeah, just go a bit slower.
Yeah, copy.
Okay, good lap, keep pushing.
And now Alonso is going to start threatening to overtake us. Alright, Magnussen is up past Norris.
Let's go.
Oh, and we managed to squeeze past the Ferrari. That's something I've not been able to do before. Right, and
Plenty of K1.
always defend.
Yeah.
Just keep hanging in there. Okay, charge on, charge on.
Yep.
Charge on.
Yeah, copy.
Alright, DRS will be active at the start of the next lap.
Mode push.
Yep.
I need to use what little battery I've got left just to make sure I can actually stay in the DRS zone, because otherwise that Ferrari's going to nab me on the main straight, and probably Alonso will too. There we go.
Charge on.
Copy.
Tyre temps are starting to come down, that's good. Pushed them pretty hard on the restart there, trying to find a way through.
Okay, random mode push.
Copy.
And we're out the DRS zone again already. That's not good.
Let's use that K1.
Copy.
Already gone through the activation for the detection point, so we're vulnerable down this long back straight here. Got a good launch though. Should get us back into contention, potentially. for the next zone.
Okay, we're out of DRS.
Yeah.
Charge on, charge on.
Yeah.
Oh, just some very aggressive moving in the braking zone from Leclerc there. And tyres are back in their optimal temperature window now, so that should hopefully help us with traction. Yeah, we're going to get DRS this time. In fact, I'm actually going to turn off the always defend, so that should hopefully not affect our lap times negatively now. It's a risk. Leclerc's about to get Perez. How close can we get before we hit the chicane? Pretty close. Go on, have a look up the inside. No.
6 laps to go, 6 laps.
Might need to pick up the pace a little bit.
Copy.
See if we can get Magnussen up past Hamilton. Some of these corners do feel very, very claustrophobically tight with those walls very, very close. Right, maybe this time we can throw it up the inside. No, around the outside. Don't let DRS. Got the faster line potentially. We had the slipstream of Leclerc as well. We're up to second. This is the best I've ever done on this challenge.
Take a closer look. Now here we are at the final corner. The gap opens up for them. And Nico Hülkenberg gets himself ahead.
Slow down now.
Copy.
Alright, so now we've got a chance to maybe race for the win.
Charge on.
Copy.
That would be incredible to get Hülkenberg on the top step. And I believe that this scenario itself is one of the deluxe available, deluxe upgrade ones, so should not be available in the base game. But as we were saying on the bonus stream on Saturday, the deluxe scenarios will be made available as a purchasable pack. Excuse me. Yeah, a purchasable pack will be made available, like a deluxe upgrade, at some point. Wow, Alonso's up to third. He's just suddenly come from nowhere. Let's put battle assist back on. Nice little confidence boost for defending that move. Trying to charge up the battery a touch.
Let's go charge on, please.
Go with that.
I'm gonna go Nico Hülkenberg because he's through.
Let's see what happened there. Right, we're down at turn 5. It's there for the taking.
Apparently, Hülkenberg absolutely hates it when people do that.
And the Haas completes the move.
But yeah, we're through into the lead now. We've got to try and hold it, which is why I wanted some battery so that we can try and sprint. And now, with peak confidence, that should make defending a little bit easier as well. Magnussen's still not able to get past Hamilton. Let's go for it.
So mode push.
Yeah.
See if we can do the unthinkable and get both Haas on the podium. We've got 2 and a bit laps to go. Got a good run on Hamilton here. Just getting a faint toe from the Ferrari in front. Side by side. And we've got the move done on Hamilton. And Perez is slow.
Bro.
Ah, we got overtaken.
Race back to us somehow. Three laps to go. 3 laps.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. And we should retake the position here.
Mode push. Okay to push.
See, we can't break the back of those two chasing us. Good defence from Magnussen there. Fast running out of battery again. Can we get a run on Sainz? Line him up for a DRS pass maybe. He's still going to get it off the back of Alonso, so that'll make it tricky.
Charge on.
Copy.
Oh, a bit of movement from Leclerc there. And they can just see the top speed on that Ferrari just a little bit too good for us. But we hold off Leclerc. That's good.
Two to go, Nico. 2 more laps. Charge on.
Okay, could not sprint away. I kind of expected that. I was hoping we might be able to pull slightly more of a gap, but I'm hoping Alonso and Leclerc will trip each other up. Whoa!
Pick the pace back up.
Copy that.
That was close. Right, Sainz is now vulnerable. So we might be able to get Sainz on the back straight on the run up to the end of the lap.
We need a back off.
By the same token, we are slightly vulnerable. We are holding back Leclerc. Here comes Alonso looking to go around the outside. Can we hold them both off? Yes, we can. Alonso gets through. It's the old man podium. Could not get sight since he's closed right back up on Leclerc, who had a really poor exit thanks to getting passed by Alonso there. I think this is probably as good as we can get with Kevin. It's all about focusing here now. Can we keep Alonso behind us?
Okay, we're okay to push. Okay to push. Mode push.
I mean, theoretically, it doesn't matter if Alonso gets us. We only have to get on the podium, but that'd be so nice to win. Here he comes. Just shutting him down. Pushing these tyres for all they're worth. And there we go. This is the run to the flag. And we've done it. Viva Las Vegas. Oh, Magnussen did get someone. He got Sainz right at the death. Crossed the line side by side. It wasn't Sainz, he got Leclerc.
Nico Hülkenberg wins the race.
Yeah. I mean, comparative. Nico's been around for a long time. He's not been in Formula One much over the last few years, but he's been around for quite a long time in Formula One. Obviously, Alonso is a very old man. He's 42 now.
Okay, Kev, that's the checkered flag.
But considering the average age of the grid, yeah, he's an old man.
Perfect drive today.
Time was when mid-30s was when drivers were starting to look at retiring at one point.
The team has been waiting patiently there, and you can see just how much it means to each and every one of them. It's been a brilliant day for Hülkenberg, sealing a top 3 finish in today's race. And there's not much that rivals the Las Vegas Grand Prix when it comes to the podium presentation.
Oh, I'm older than Alonso. Yeah. A couple of years.
And that's about it for this weekend here.
Make sure to join us again next time as we prepare for another weekend of exhilarating Grand Prix action.
So you can see there, we got Magnussen up to 4th, which is cool. I didn't think we'd get him up there in the end. But we managed to get a win. Phenomenal stuff. And we got the fastest lap as well by just under 1/10 of a second. In fact, no, less than that. Just a couple of hundredths. Hamilton with a 38.301. A 303 for Ocon. And then, yeah, retirements for De Vries, Stroll, Verstappen and Russell. Right, so we got time for one more. Let's look at one of the moments. We did a Piastri theme. Let's continue that. Let's see if we can get Piastri his first points. So, after a chaotic 29 laps, Piastri stuck behind Tsunoda with a string of cars in his mirrors. The early red flag and early pit stops have put him in a difficult position. Managed his tyre strategy wisely to get his first points on home turf. So, let's have a look. We are currently 12th. Not on the best tyres. We are going to need to box again, I think. And theoretically, we could make those tyres last, but I don't know how good they're going to be. Norris is on the same strategy. Norris is in 8th right now. Let's take a look at tyre history. So, cars like Ocon, Zhou, Bottas, they all have to stop again. Got no Leclerc, Albon or Russell. So that's 3 cars we won't have to worry about. Everyone in front has already made their stops, and theoretically the only stop they need to make. One of the things that's been fixed in the patch, apparently, is where it says undefined here. That is being addressed in the patch. So we shouldn't see undefined going on much longer, hopefully. Let's have a look at the weather. It's going to stay dry. So let's see. We're on a 119.56. If we were to switch to... Oh, I don't have any... How have I got no other tyres? What have I got? No, I don't. I don't have any other tyres. Okay, so... I guess we kind of look after the tyres we've got then. Let's see what the situation's like for Norris. What tyre options has he got? Oh, his tyre options are even worse. Look at those hards. Those softs, they're all used completely. Decent life left in the mediums. Alright, so given that we don't even have mediums available for Oscar, I guess we've just got to try and get past as quickly as we can. Assuming we're going to have spare fuel. Those tyres are in the right window. That's good. That's good. Norris in clean air. So we'll leave his battery alone. No need for battle modes. Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
Okay, buddy, now it's your turn. Let's get stuck in.
Copy.
All right, I need to get this move done. All right, a couple of quick sectors. Alan overtake gets him into peak confidence. That is very important.
Lovely stuff.
We're going to keep pushing just to try and make sure we break away from Tsunoda, not give him the chance to come back at us in the DRS. And also to try and close the gap to Ocon a little bit. And then we're going to look after the car as best we can. Norris with some spare fuel to burn. Let's use that, see if we can't close him up on Hulkenberg a little bit maybe. So Ocon's tyres aren't in great shape. We should close him down relatively quickly. Let's go into top up now.
Recharge on.
We've broken 2 seconds to Tsunoda, so we don't have to worry about Yuki for a little while. Take a look at track conditions, track temperature, 25 degrees. That's not too bad. Help keep the life in the tyres. Not quite closing in. Let's use up a bit more battery and a little bit more tyre. Just want to get into that DRS range, even if we just sit behind him for a couple of laps to try and recharge again. Getting into that DRS is going to help us. Allow us to cool the car down a little bit. Get that battery refilled.
Pack is low.
Okay, we got it. Let's go harvest. Let's drop the tyre pace down again. Let's drop the fuel load down now.
More lift and coast.
And let's put him into low overtaking.
We need to be sensible, okay?
Just want him to kind of tuck in for a couple of laps. Norris lapping slower than Hulkenberg. Okay, well, I'm going to box Lando. for those mediums. This will clear him out of the way of...
this lap.
Yeah, Fox confirm. I can't hear you. Fox, I think.
We got overtaken and that hammered his confidence. Let's thrash these tyres on the way round.
Stay close. You can use overtake.
So as we were showing you the impact of confidence levels, that's what low confidence looks like. Just went up slightly on the overtaking there because we set a new best middle sector. But I'm boxing Norris to get him out of the way of Piastri because that will put Piastri into P10, and then we can tell Norris to basically be a rear gunner. It's an easy... it's sacrificing Norris's performance to benefit Piastri.
Understood.
But also, we can potentially use... use Norris as a battering ram to try and pull Piastri further up the field as well.
And they will bring the tyres in a bit.
I was actually going to get out ahead of them. I didn't think that was going to happen. Oh no, wait, yeah, he's going to tuck in right behind. Alright, okay, so we'll use him as a... We'll use him as a battering ram, as a way to punch a hole in the air for us.
Okay, Alex, recharge on is good.
Get those mediums up to temp. Evening, Sadio.
We want to manage our tyre budget.
So Norris has got the pace to hunt down Ocon, and Piastri is in the DRS range, so that's pulling Piastri back onto Ocon again. And we can get Norris in front of Ocon, and then we can slow Norris right down and let Ocon try and jump the pair of them potentially. But we can certainly back Ocon up into Piastri. Try and make things easier for the young Aussie and harder for the Frenchman.
Okay, use deploy.
Big lifts.
And Oscar's pace has just dropped off.
No need to push the tyres.
So let's try and slow Norris down a bit. Get him to hold up Ocon. Magnussen is now through against Tsunoda, and he is potentially quicker than us. Yeah, he is. So we'll have to watch out for Magnussen attacking us.
Ocon has also pitted.
Right, Ocon's boxed. Okay, so now is hopefully... Are we close enough? No, we're not. And Norris got the DRS.
Recharge, John, please.
Yep.
There we go. So now we're going to try and go back to the original plan of using Norris as a tow.
Okay, Lando, you can turn recharge off if you want to.
Key thing is to keep the tyre in good shape. Keep the tyre in good shape.
Copy.
Let's see if we can take a little bit of pressure off the tyres as well. Hopefully stretch them out a little bit. So we did a 23.2, but that was because we were on deploy. 24.3. Let's see what we do on this lap. Now that Norris isn't driving handicapped, well, as handicapped.
I'd like to have 100% pace, please.
Yeah, we can start to look at speeding Lando up just a little bit.
Focus on recharge.
Copy.
Closing on Hulkenberg. What's the gap? Oh, 17 seconds. It's a bit of a gap. Anyone in front still need to pit. Possibly. Magnussen closing us down is definitely on older tyres. Same as Yuki, we might see them box towards the end. I'm going to try and stick it out on these hards, but if cars in front start boxing for softs, I might have to do the same, especially if Magnussen and Tsunoda box for softs. Might have to cover them off.
charge on.
Copy.
Magnussen pushing. He's got the gap down to less than 2 seconds. You can tell he's pushing because his pace is faster than Norris, despite him being on older, very old hard tyres. Lando's confidence still isn't great. That isn't helping. Let's get a little bit more pace in those tyres, a little bit more heat in them. See if we can set a couple of fast sectors for Lando. Get his confidence at least up to normal. Oscar's confidence is still pretty good. It has dipped from peak over time, which it will do. You will gradually see that slider start to go left and track back a bit.
We can use the pace now.
Yeah.
Let the tyres come back to you. Overtake is available.
Right, come on Lando, pick your pace up a little bit. I know your confidence isn't great, but you need a couple of quick sectors to get that sorted. Ocon is coming back through on those softs. Where is Lando's pace? It's just not there. Okay, Yuki boxes.
Press overtake. Time to push on these tyres.
Really need a fast sector here, Lando, come on. Pulling away from Magnussen again. really hope he stays out for another few laps yet. Holds Ocon up before he boxes. This rate, I might have to think about releasing Piastri. Oh, he didn't always defend. Ah, crap, let's turn that off. That might be one of the reasons why he's going slow. Oh yeah, immediately the gap shoots up. That was it. That was the reason.
And we can have recharge on, please.
Immediately sets a new personal best.
Just be careful
Middle
with
sector.
this tyre.
Oscar, you can reduce the LICO slightly.
Copy.
Ocon does get through, but he had to work for it. I'm a little worried that we just lost the DRS. Yeah, we did.
Overtake.
Copy.
So Lando, overtake will be available.
No wonder Norris was going slow. He was in defensive
And
mode.
save fuel from now, please. Save fuel from now.
And then we're going to have to work hard to get Oscar back into range again.
No need to push the tyres. Save as much fuel.
Well, Ocon's flying up to the back of us.
We want to manage our tyre budget.
Really can't slow Norris down any more than this now, unless I go back into defensive mode. Don't really want to do that. We're almost there. We're almost back in range, and we need it now because we need defense against Ocon.
Recharge on.
All right, we got it.
Copy.
Pack is low.
Copy.
Alright, 10 laps to go. Tyres will make it just, but they're not going to be great.
Overtake available.
Copy.
Oh, just so much more grip. What is the tyre situation around us? Actually, it's quicker to just do it this way. I will lose out to Magnussen, possibly Bottas. If I'm going to box, I'm going to have to think about doing it pretty damn quick.
Recharge on.
Yeah, go on.
Overtake available if needed.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, confirm.
Recharge on is good.
Copy.
Alright, so I think if we box, I don't think we're going to have the pace to catch back up in time. So we're going to switch the drivers over, and we're going to put Piastri into P10, Norris into P11, and get Norris to sit behind and defend. We'll try and just get a little bit more battery in Oscar's car before we do that. Who knows, we might get a retirement as well up front. And that would make it, pretty much inconsequential what order our drivers are in.
Okay, keep looking after the tyre.
Copy.
More lift and coast.
Copy.
Ocon's tyres are falling away pretty quickly. Might be vulnerable again in a couple of laps. It's a little too early for that, and we will to make sure he gets the position, but at the moment having him sit behind and keeping that DRS means we can charge his battery and take some of the strain off the tyres. While keeping him relatively competitive pace-wise.
Recharge on.
Copy.
That's your choice. Like I've said to you a couple of times now, it all depends on how much you played the previous game, what kind of challenge you're looking for.
Okay, Lando, we suggest a little bit more Lyco. And recharge on, recharge on.
Use the tyre.
Copy.
Alright, we're getting down to the last couple of laps. We've got a good gap to Magnussen. It's time to swap the cars. And if someone in front does retire, then we will let Norris back through and just let him go attacking.
Recharge on.
Oh, these tyres are really starting to struggle.
So Oscar, we can look after this tyre.
Yeah.
We're going to have to really just drive really carefully like this now. Let's tend to avoid the high-risk curbs as well.
Stay off the curbs.
That will save the tyres a little bit more. With the tyres getting low, once they get below 30%, we do start getting into the risk of maybe doing a puncture.
Laps to go.
And now we're into the cold temperature range. That's going to affect our pace a little bit, leave us a little vulnerable maybe to Magnussen over the next couple of laps. We have got a yellow flag. Max is locked up.
You can take a look now. Now this was at turn
He's coming up to
3.
lap us.
Struggling with the car, and they'll need to be mindful of the effect that that had on the tyres.
Let's see what has that done to his tyres. And has that lost him the lead? No, he's miles ahead. He's 22.5 seconds clear. His tyres are not great.
Use the overtake button.
Let's try and get a little bit more heat into the tyres. Obviously, McLaren would not have adopted these tactics in real life, just to get a point for Oscar. So, I mean, it's kind of a little cheeky the way we've gone about this, you know, deliberately sabotaging Norris to make it a little easier to get this challenge done. But I mean, I'll have another crack at it and do it properly, try and keep him in the top 10 without sabotaging Norris. You know, I'll do that off camera and I'll let you know how that goes. But I just figured it'd be nice to at least get this one knocked off and out the way. Tyres are just about hanging on. once your tyres, I think, once they get into the below 30% range, you start running the risk of penalties, not penalties, punctures. So I've had a couple of experiences with punctures. The first one, my tyres were about 20-something%, and then one of them went, but I was in speeding up mode on this, so I didn't actually see what happened. I just found out I got a puncture and had to limp back to the pits. The other one, I ran the tyres right down and it got to almost zero. I had one tyre that was really badly damaged, while the rest were fine. That one ran down to zero and then punctured immediately as soon as it hit zero. But I think potentially, as long as you're in that 30% window, you run the risk of a puncture. And obviously the closer you get to zero, I think the higher the chance will be. I'm not 100% certain on that. I'll have to experiment with that and try some stress testing.
Pack is low.
Copy.
Alright, let's go back up to normal pace.
You can start pushing.
I'll go neutral,
Copy.
because we've got no battery left, but yeah, we're not on assist. So yeah, we've just about managed to keep the tyres alive. We actually stretched the gap to Magnussen a little bit at the end there. A penalty now, a puncture now would be just a disaster. Zane, if you can keep deleting your messages, I'm not going to be able to see them. And there we go. We're getting a little flashing warning that our tyres are now in the 30% range. And it's our two left-hand tyres, the front left and rear left, at 30%. So you can see that's going to have a bit more risk of performance.
This is the last lap. Last lap.
Oh, crap, yeah, we've still got another lap to go. Oh, tyres, don't fail me now.
Max Verstappen over the finish line and today's winner.
See, Magnussen is not close. Well, he's closing a touch bit, not enough. So we haven't got to worry about Magnussen sort of swooping along the back of us there. Norris's tyres, we had to really slow his tyre pace right down. He's still got his tyres at 38%, so they wouldn't have lasted very long. Oh, you missed out on the podium. No. Unlucky. And there we go, Piastri coming up to the line to get his first ever points at his home Grand Prix. Challenge complete. Just as well we didn't have to get Norris in a particular position as well. Otherwise that would have been pretty hard to do. Those tyres definitely do not like it. I think I'm going to have to box him for softs when I try this properly.
So we've got a bit of work to do as well, but that's a good haul of points.
That's a good haul of points. It's one. It's a point. I wouldn't say it's a good haul.
That's Oscar Piastri after what was a very exciting Grand Prix.
Just managing a finish in the points, having crossed the line in 10th.
Well, Max Verstappen can add yet another podium.
Yeah, we don't care about that. Yeah, challenge complete. Compared to real results, Max finished in the same position, 2 less pit stops and 1 more point because he got the fastest lap. Or was that 2 more pit stops? It's in red. It suggests it's bad. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he did 2 less pit stops, but it's in red. I don't know why that's a bad thing. Of course, there was chaos towards the end of the Grand Prix this year, which is why it was so strange like that. Let's have a look-see look at the final page. There we go, complete. Moment done. So, that is the end of tonight's stream. We'll be back tomorrow night with the return, I was going to say the conclusion then, the return of our Mercedes career mode. We'll be heading to round 4, to Baku, for a sprint weekend. So it'll be practice 1, then sprint quali, then practice 3, then the sprint race, and that sprint race position will determine our quali position for the race itself. So it's using last year's regulations for sprint weekends, but we do have sprints in the game, so it's not perfect, but it's an improvement on what we had last year. So how will we be able to do that? How will we be able to manage the car? We've got to basically get it dialed in practice 1 as quickly as possible, because we're going to miss out on an entire session's worth of running in terms of getting that car set up. Plus, however it's set up, demon eyes there from Piastri. However it's set up is how it's going to have to run in the Grand Prix. So again, if we're short on parts and we break a part and we have to, replace it with a part that we don't actually have and we'll have to emergency manufacture. We won't be able to roll back a previous spec. We'll be locked in to that spec that we qualified in. So yeah, that will be interesting. It cost me, as I say, 2.2 million just to make one emergency chassis for my AlphaTauri file when I raced at Baku. So hopefully we won't have that issue with our Mercedes team. We've been a little bit more careful, I think, with our part manufacturing so far. But we'll be back at the usual time, 9 o'clock tomorrow, to continue with Mercedes. So until then, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more F1 Manager 23 very soon.